Hi everyone, so this is the code that we worked with in the previous video, and in this video let's just first modify this a bit. I want to make this red, and I'm going to make this a fill oval, and let's just make this 25 25. Actually let's just make this 15 and 15. A better way to do this would be let's add a private static int ball underscore uh, diameter, um, and let's just set that to 15, and here we'll use ball underscore diameter, and the same here as well. And let's also just create a private float ball x, and another one called ball y, and in the constructor for this, let's create a constructor, and let's just go ahead and set ball x to 25 and ball y to 25, um, and let's just use ball x and ball y here. So let's just check out this much code first. So alright, I've got um, a typecasting error, so I need to typecast this to an int, and let's typecast this to an int as well. So once that's done, let's just go ahead and do this. So as you can see, I've created a ball here. So what we're going to do next is let's also give this a private float ball x speed and ball y speed, and let's just set both of those to 1 for now. And um, what we can do here is something like this. We can there's actually a repaint method which we are going to use. So what the repaint method does is it calls the paint component again, and that's what we are going to use. But before that, let's just create a thread. Let's say ball movement equals new thread, and we've already talked about threads before, so let's just create a public void run here, and I'll also need a private static final int update rate, or some people might call it the FPS, the frames per second. I'm not sure if this is exactly frames per second, but let's just keep this to 60. And in the run method, let's just do ball x plus equals ball x speed, and let's do ball y plus equals ball y speed, and then let's just put the thread to sleep, um, sleep for 1000 divided by the update rate, and let's catch the interrupted exception, um, and I'm not going to be doing anything here, um, and I think this should work. We'll have to start this thread in the constructor itself. Let's just do ball movement dot start, and I think this should work now. So let's just go ahead and um, this cannot find symbol ball Y speed, and that's just because I didn't use an uppercase Y here. So alright, let's just go ahead and run this. And this is actually doing nothing right now. And alright, the reason for that is because I should put this in an infinite loop. So let's just do that while true. Um, and let's just once we've done that, let's go ahead and try running this again. Alright, so I actually forgot to call the repaint method that I talked about. So at the end of this loop itself, we need to call the repaint method. So that'll do the paint component all over again. And let's just compile this now and run it. So as you can see, this ball has now started moving. So there's something that's I think it's really cool. So let's just stop this now. And the next thing that we are going to do is let's add something like a paddle, so we can actually make something like a brick breaker game or the Atari breakout kind of thing. So let's just go ahead and add a few more variables. So I need a paddle X, and the Y would just be uh, near the bottom, so I won't create a variable for that. And let's just go here and let's do a g.setColor to color dot blue, let's say, and g.fillRect, and here I need to do an int paddle X, and let's just keep the paddle Y to something like 550, and let's just keep the height and width. Actually, let's create variables here. So I need a private static int paddle underscore width, and let's just keep that to something like 40, and let's create a private static int paddle height, and let's just set that to 10. And once we've done that, let's just give those two here, paddle underscore width and paddle underscore height. So once we've done that, let's check how this works. So here's my paddle. We'll need to tweak the values a bit. So let's just make this 500, and let's just increase these by a factor of 2, and let's see now. So this looks kind of alright, although we could keep this to something like 15 should be fine. And after that, what we need to do is in the constructor itself, let's create an event for mouse movement. So the way we do that is we say add mouse motion listener, and this is actually going to become slightly confusing. So here we need to do a new mouse adapter, and so what I'm doing here is I'm creating a class which inherits from the mouse adapter, and I'm going to write the implementation for the public void mouse moved method. So, and here I need to take a mouse event E. So this method is whatever I write here will be triggered when the mouse moves. So all we need to do is we need to set paddle X to this mouse event object has a point which is the current location of the mouse. So I just need to do e dot get point and dot x, and I'll repaint it now. So once I've done that, I think this should work, but before I do that, I need to import a couple more things here. So I need to import java.awt.event.mouse adapter, and I also need to import java.awt.event.mouse event because I used these two here. So once I've done that, let's just go ahead and compile this and run it. And now if I take my mouse here, the paddle moves, and now I can actually go ahead and, as you can see, the ball just passes through. And another thing is I can maximize this, and I don't really want this to be maximized, so I can fix that simply by doing something like my frame dot set resizable, I think, and I'll set that to false. And now if I uh, compile this, now I can't maximize this. So now we can actually go ahead and write the collisions part so that the ball actually bounces back from the paddle or from the walls. But I think this video has actually been over 13 minutes now, so I'll leave that for the next video. Um, I'm sure you want to watch that because there we'll be doing the collisions and the ball is going to be bouncing off the paddle and the walls, and you can actually go ahead and make a game out of this. I'm not going to do the entire game, but you can do it, and I think that'll be a really fun project to work on. So I'll see you in the next video.